Hello, I'm Mohsen Jamal and you watch Afghan News. NATO says it is investigating an incident that occurred along the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, in which its helicopters were accused of killing 25 Pakistani soldiers. Pakistani officials on Saturday accused the US-led coalition of firing on Pakistan army checkpoints, which also wounded 12 others. In retaliation, the Pakistan government closed a key border crossing that NATO uses to move supplies to the war in neighboring Afghanistan. Top NATO and US commander in Afghanistan, General John R. Allen, issued a statement Saturday offering condolences to any members of the Pakistan security forces who might have been killed or injured. But the coalition did not claim any responsibility for their deaths, saying that the incident is still being investigated. At least 13 insurgents have been killed and 17 others captured in operations launched by Afghan National Police in Afghanistan, the Interior Ministry said in a statement on Saturday. The ministry statement added that the operations were launched in Kabul, Helmand, Uruzgan and Herat provinces in the past 24 hours to clear the areas of insurgents. During the operations, ANP have also seized several weapons. It said Afghan and NATO forces have recently increased military operations in the country to clear volatile regions of insurgents, killing and capturing dozens of militants. American military officers have told the Associated Press news agency that U.S. Marines will march out of Afghanistan by thousands next year, winding down combat in the Taliban heartland. The move also will test the view that Afghan forces are capable of leading the fight against a battered but not yet beaten insurgency in the country's southwestern reaches. At the same time, United States reinforcements will be sent to eastern Afghanistan in a bid to reverse recent gains by insurgents targeting Kabul, Afghanistan's capital. The commandant of the Marine Corps, General James F. Enos, said that the number of Marines in Helmand province will drop markedly in 2012, while the role of those who stay will shift from countering the insurgency to training and advising the Afghan security forces. Meanwhile, the Obama administration has planned to cut its troop numbers from current levels of 100,000 to as few as 10,000 by the end of 2014. Opium and heroin production will spiral out of control in Afghanistan as foreign troops withdraw towards 2014, the country's former anti-drugs chief has warned. Taliban insurgents and farmers will take advantage of the withdrawal to increase poppy production, said General Khudaidat. Afghanistan already produces more than 90% of the world's opium and more than 95% of the heroin on Britain's streets, but he predicted the trade would soon be completely out of control. Britain has spent tens of millions of pounds on counter-narcotics schemes in the past 6 years in Helmand, which remains the world center of opium production. General Khudaidat, who was Minister for Counter-Narcotics for 4 years, said the industry was thriving on Afghan insecurity, corruption and weak government. Afghan Taliban Supreme Commander Mullah Muhammad Umar is pushing Pakistani militants based in the tribal areas to strike a peace deal with the government and has advised the chief of the Haqqani network to mediate between them, according to a Pakistani news agency. The Express Tribune quoted a Taliban associate on Saturday as saying that they have received a message from Mullah Umar that there should be an end to militant activities inside Pakistan and they should make peace with the Pakistani government and focus on Afghanistan against foreigners. The Express Tribune added that at least 2 other members of the terror group based in South Waziristan, as well as a couple of tribal elders, privy to the ongoing talks between the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Pakistani government, had confirmed the claim. It emerged over the last weekend that Pakistan security forces and the homegrown Taliban were holding talks to end an almost a decade-old conflict in the country's tribal areas. Iraqi officials say at least 8 people have been killed by a roadside bomb in central Iraq and 4 were killed in Baghdad after 3 explosions hit the country's central Tahrir Square. An Interior Ministry official said on Saturday that a roadside improvised explosive device hit a minibus carrying laborers, killing 8 people and wounding 13 others. The ministry official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said that the road where the attack occurred is frequently used by the Iraqi armed forces. A police source said that 2 2 bombs had exploded minutes apart in an area where construction workers gather in the Sunni village of Al-Zaydan. The inter-ministry official also said that 3 bombs exploded in the Bab al-Sharqi area of central Baghdad, killing 4 people and wounding 25 others. More information was not immediately available. Violence has ebbed across Iraq, but deadly bombings and shootings still occur almost daily as US troops prepare to leave by the end of the year. Finance ministers from the Arab League are due to meet in Egypt to discuss possible sanctions against Syria. The organization had set a Friday deadline for Damascus to allow rights monitors into the country, but the deadline passed with no firm commitment from Syrian officials. As the deadline expired, fresh anti-government protests were reported in various towns across Syria, and activists said up to 26 people had been killed, most of them in the central province of Homs. The province also saw an ambush which led to the killing of 10 security personnel, including 6 elite military pilots, according to the Syrian Armed Forces. Elsewhere, Turkey's Foreign Minister Ahmed Davutoglu hinted that he could attend a meeting of the Arab League foreign ministers at which possible sanctions could be discussed, and said Turkey was considering taking further steps against Syria in conjunction with the bloc. Officials in Yemen say heavy fighting broke out in the Yemeni capital between security forces and army defectors despite the signing of a recent deal to transfer power. 1 man from each side was killed in Friday's clashes in Sana'a, military officials said. Central security forces under the command of Ali Abdullah Saleh's nephew battled the army's 1st Armored Division, led by a general who defected to the opposition in March, the officials said. The protests in Sana'a in the southern city of Taiz followed Saleh's signing of a deal on Wednesday in Saudi Arabia, brokered by the Six-Nation Gulf Cooperation Council, transferring power in exchange for immunity from prosecution. Many protesters say the deal falls short of their demands because many crucial positions in the government and the military are held by Saleh's family and friends. And the tens of thousands of demonstrators have packed Cairo Square after days of daily clashes demanding Egypt's military rulers step down and rejecting their choice of new prime minister. Tensions have risen in Egypt in the lead up to parliamentary elections due to a start on Monday, although the streets were relatively calm on Friday as a truce negotiated the day before in Cairo continued to hold. Amid the ongoing turmoil, the governing Supreme Council of the Armed Forces has asked Kamal El-Ganzouri, 78, a prime minister under deposed President Hosni Mubarak, to head a new cabinet. In his first public statement after his appointment, Ganzouri said on Friday that previous cabinets over the past 60 years were given many powers by the President of the Republic, but he has been granted much more powers than past predecessors. But protesters in the Tahrir Square quickly rejected his appointment, saying he was not the man to lead a transition to democracy. That's all for now. Thanks for joining us.